Let your body settle now. Your shoulders. Notice how high they have drifted through the long day, climbing toward your ears without your ever asking them to. Let them lower, slowly, the way a heavy wet vessel is at last set gently down upon the board. Your hands, wherever they rest tonight, open at your sides or folded upon the blanket. They are holding nothing now. No cool clay, no wet rim, no turning stone. Let them grow heavy and warm. Your jaw, loosen it, the smallest softening at the hinge. Let your tongue lie low and quiet, and your face grow easy. Your feet, heavy, still. A gentle warmth has gathered beneath the blanket, like the last heat of a cooling kiln. And the blanket along the whole length of you. Its weight is kind. It already knows your shape. There is nowhere else to be. There is nothing you need to solve tonight. Nothing to plan. Nothing to remember. The slow turning of the wheel asks nothing of you now. Tomorrow can hold the rest. And as you breathe, the breath comes in slow and cool, and out even slower. You are in a small potter's workshop in the Kerameikos, the potter's quarter of Athens, in the years around 500 before our era. The market is long closed, the streets are empty, and the only light is your own small lamp. You are the potter here, the one who shapes the wet clay and keeps the wheel turning and the kiln tended. The day's work is finished. Now there is only the slow quiet of the evening and the cooling of the fire. You stand a while in the low mud brick room as the last light leaves the doorway. The walls are rough and pale, washed with lime, and the floor is beaten earth, smooth and cool beneath your bare feet. A single bench runs along one wall, crowded with the day's vessels. The smell of wet clay hangs everywhere, heavy, mineral, faintly of the river. There is little else here. A low stool, a water jar in the corner. The potter's wheel resting in the middle of the floor, it is enough. You let your eyes drift across the bench, the pale row of drying cups, the wide curve of a half-shaped bowl, the shallow dish of dark slip, gone still and glossy in the dusk. Everything quiet now, everything resting. You rest your palm flat upon the cool clay of the bench and let the dusk come down. No lamp yet, just the gray light softening, the vessels growing dim, the doorway filling with blue. You draw the stool near the wheel and let your hand move over the smooth round stone. Here is the wheel, a heavy disc of fired clay, turning low upon a stone pivot set into the floor. Through the day, a boy crouched at its edge and spun it for you, while you sat above and shaped the rising clay. Now it rests. You turn it once with the flat of your palm, just to feel it move. It wheels round, true and level, and slows and grows still. You think of the clay as it was this morning, dug from the riverbank, washed and settled, then wedged upon the board until it held no breath inside. Slow work, patient work. The clay grows kind only when you do not hurry it. And here beside the wheel, the simple tools of the shaping. a curved rib of wood worn smooth, a sponge swollen with water, a thin reed for cutting the finished vessel free. You let your fingers rest upon them, familiar as your own skin. There is nothing here that hurries. The wheel turns only as fast as the hand will spin it. You let your hand lie still upon the stone. You rise and move along the bench, where the day's work stands drying in the evening air. Here is a row of cups, their walls thin and even their rims turned smooth. The clay is no longer wet and dark, but paler now, the color of river mud gone to a soft, warm gray buff. You touch the rim of one. It is cool and just firm, leather hard. Beside the cups, a wide, shallow bowl and a tall jar with 2 looped handles for water or wine. You turn the jar slowly, and the line of it is true and easy, swelling and narrowing the way a good vessel should. They must dry slowly, away from the draft and out of the sun, or the clay would crack as it shrinks. You stand a moment among them, the pale shapes glimmering faintly in the last of the light. Cups and bowls and jars, each made for some plain human use. A hand, a thirst, a meal. Simple things made well. You take up the one vessel you set aside, dry now, and carry it to the doorway to look at its painting in the last gray light. It is a wine cup, broad and shallow on its slender foot, and across its pale clay you laid the dark figures earlier in the day. You did not paint them in color. You brushed on a fine dark slip, clay so finely settled and watered that it lies thin as a shadow. The figures stand out dark against the pale clay. A runner, perhaps, or a horse, drawn in the old black manner, their inner lines scratched fine through the slip to show the pale clay beneath. You trace one such line with the edge of your nail, the way you drew it hours ago. The dark you painted is not black yet. It will only turn black in the fire, when the heat and the smoke work their slow change upon the slip. For now, it is only a soft reddish brown, waiting. You hold the cup up and turn it, and the figures wheel around its rim. It doesn't matter how long the painting took. A line, and then the next line, the brush moving slow and sure, the figure rising out of the pale clay the way a shape rises out of mist. You set it down gently. You take up the small lamp and step out into the yard, where the kiln stands against the wall, still warm from the firing. The kiln is a round dome of mud brick and clay, low and squat, blackened with the smoke of many firings. Through the long, hot hours of the day, your vessels were stacked close inside it, and the fire fed below to bake the soft clay hard. Now the fire has died to embers, and the kiln is slowly letting go of its heat. You rest your hand upon the outer clay. It is warm still, the way stone holds the sun long after the sun has gone. You do not open it. The pots inside must cool as slowly as they were heated over the whole long night, or the cold air would crack them. A little smoke still drifts up from the low fire mouth, and the air here smells of wood ash and warm earth. You feed no more wood now. The work of the fire is done. There is only the cooling left, and that needs nothing but patience. You crouch a while by the warm kiln, the lamp small and gold beside you, and watch the last embers breathe their faint glow and dim. Inside, in the dark, the soft clay is slowly turning hard, becoming pottery that may outlast 100 lifetimes. But that is the fire's work now, not yours. You go back inside and cross to the water jar in the corner to wash the clay from your hands. You dip your hands into the cool water and feel the dried clay soften and lift away. It clouds the water pale and gray, and your hands come clean beneath, the lines of your palms, the worn places. The water is cold and good. You let it run between your fingers and feel the day's small aches ease in your hands, the hands that pressed and lifted and turned the clay through all the long hours. They have done their work and may rest now. You dry them slow on a rough cloth and stand a moment in the quiet. The bench, the wheel, the drying cups, the painted vessel, all in its place, resting in the small gold light. There is nothing left undone here. Nothing to plan, nothing to track, nothing to remember. The clay will wait, and the kiln will cool on its own. Tonight there is only the slow ease coming into your tired hands. You settle on the low stool by the bench, the small clay lamp before you, and rest in its gentle light. The lamp is a small thing, a shallow dish of fired clay with a pinched lip, and in it a thread of wick floats in a little pool of olive oil. The flame is no bigger than a thumbnail, leaning and riding in the still air, and a soft gold light wavers across the room with each slow breath you take. The warm light gathers on the pale shapes of the cups, and the curve of the water jar, and the round stone of the wheel. The shadows are soft and deep and kind. Outside, the quarter has gone dark and still, the other potters long since gone home. You breathe in the clean smell of the oil and the warm clay and feel how quiet it has all become. No wheel turning, no fire to feed, no voice in the street. Only the small flame and the faint tick of the kiln's clay settling out in the yard, and then the silence flowing back. There is nothing you need to finish. It doesn't matter how late it is. The lamp will burn its little oil and gutter low, and that is well. You have only to sit a while in the warmth and let the evening grow deep around you. You rise at last, slow and easy, to set the last things in their places before you rest. You damp the cloths over the waiting clay so it will not harden in the night, and press them gently down. You set the curved rib and the reed beside the wheel and draw the dish of dark slip to the back of the bench and cover it close. The water in the jar lies still and dark. The wheel rests on its pivot, the boy gone home long since, and you give it one last slow turn with your palm and let it come to rest of its own weight, the way the day is coming to rest. You stand in the doorway a moment and look back over the quiet room, the pale, drying cups, the painted wine cup, the round shape of the wheel, all dim and gentle in the last of the lamplight. Everything in its place. You draw the door softly to against the night air, and the room holds its warmth close. The clay rests. The kiln cools in the dark yard, and you too may rest now. You cross to the low pallet against the wall, lie down, and let your whole weight sink into the quiet. The room breathes its faint scents around you, wet clay and wood ash, and the clean, warm smell of the olive oil burning low. Through a gap above the door, a few faint stars show, calm and far above the sleeping city. There is no sound but the small settling of the cooling kiln out in the yard. The vessels rest in their rows along the bench, pale and patient in the dark. The wheel rests on its stone. The painted cup waits for the next firing, its dark figures sleeping on the pale clay. And all of it rests the way you rest now. There is nothing left undone, nothing to plan, nothing to remember. The clay is wedged, the cups are drying, the kiln cools on without you in the dark. Your breath comes slow now, and slower. The warmth has gathered all through you, from your heavy feet to your soft and easy face. Out in the yard, the kiln gives up its heat to the night, grain by grain, and the whole quiet city turns toward morning. Let your shoulders lower one last time. Let your hands rest, holding nothing. Let the breath come in slow, and out even slower. There is only the warmth, the quiet, and the faint far stars. Rest now, sleep now, there is nothing else. Only the night, the warmth, and the long breath carrying you down.